What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, and I am back with another installment of Magic for the Working Class, the deck tech series where I make decks for under $100 because I believe that Magic should be economically accessible to everyone, regardless of your economic circumstances, especially times right now where, at least in the United States, it could cost you $60 to fill up your gas tank on an economically viable vehicle, let alone if you've got a giant truck. So, before we get into it, if you like this series, if you like my regular deck techs or some of my other budget content where I make options to expensive commander cards, or my new niche series where I turn historical figures into commanders, check us out on the Hidden Gibbon and feel free to subscribe, but only if you feel that I've earned it. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? So today we have Tifa Lockhart, and this deck tech's coming in at about $82. So pretty reasonable at the higher end for Magic for the Working Class, but still keeping it under 100. Please note that card prices do fluctuate, so it could change over time. And so Tifa Lockhart here is a 1/2 for 1 generic and 1 green, has Trample, and a very powerful landfall ability. Whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power until end of turn. Now, we're going to be going straight forward into the Tifa kill strategy here. She is going to be our main star, and everything revolving in the deck is going to find ways to get her out early and to help cast more things, to ramp more lands, and have her absolutely beat face. We do have a couple redundant backup plans just in case, but she is going to be the primary power that we have here. So, who is our supporting cast? Well, we have 16 creatures here. We have Augur of Autumn. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands from the top of your library. And as long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. We have Beanstalk Giant, which lets you do Fertile Footsteps, which is search your library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Notice it comes into play untapped, and then you can cast it for 7, which is power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. We have Burnished Heart. You can sacrifice it for 3 to search for 2 basics and put them on the battlefield tapped. We have some mana dorks in Elvish Mystic and Llanowar Elves. We also have Frontier Guide, which is a 2-drop, and then you can tap 4 to search for a land card and put it on the battlefield tapped. We have Mightform Harmonizer, Landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, double the power of target creature you control until end of turn. This works very well because you can do it to itself, or you can do it to Tifa if you want. We have Rampaging Balos, Trample, and Landfall. Whenever a land enters under your control, you can create a 4/4 beast creature token. Rex Sage, destroy target artifact or enchantment. We have Steve, so you can sacrifice him to search for a land. We have Sasha's, I think that's pronounced Sasha's Chocobo. Landfall, whenever a land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. We have Sad Robot over here, searches for a land, and then when it dies, you get to draw a card. We have Spring Bloom Druid. When it enters, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. We also have Studious First Year, enters prepared, and it has Rampant Growth as its prepared spell. Tireless Tracker has Landfall Investigate, which is of course creating a clue, and then when you sacrifice a clue, not only will you get to draw the card off of that clue, but then you get to put a 1/1 counter on Tireless Tracker. We also have Wood Elves. When it comes into play, search your library for a forest and put it onto the battlefield. Shuffle your library afterwards. For sorceries, we have Animus Awakening. Reveal the top X cards of your library. Put all land cards from among them onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It also has Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, untap those lands, allowing you to ramp and then potentially ramp even more, getting Tifa's power even higher. It makes me just want to sing that dang song. You can take me higher. Anywho, Circuitous Route. You get to search for 2 basic land cards and or gates, put them into play tapped. Cultivate, search for 2 basic lands, put 1 in your hand, 1 on the battlefield tapped. Explore. Alex Burton Cheaty Face's favorite card. Get to draw a card and play an additional land this turn. Explosive Vegetation. Search for 2 basic land cards and put them on the battlefield tapped. Flare of Cultivation is just cultivate, except for you can sacrifice a non-token creature rather than pay its mana cost. We have Germination Practicum. You cast it and you put 2/1/1 counters on each creature you control. It has Paradigm, so when it resolves, it then copies during your first main phase every turn. Grow from the Ashes, Kodama's Reach. Both are ramp spells. Many Partings gets a basic land card to your hand. Nissa's Triumph gets 2 forests to your hand. Migration Path, Planar Engineering, Rampant Growth, Skyshroud Claim, Nissa's Pilgrimage are all ramp spells that search for lands. We have Summer Bloom. You can play 3 additional lands this turn. And Sylvan Scrying searches for a land and puts it into your hand. For instance, we have more ramp, right? We have Harrow, we have Roiling Regrowth, we have ourselves Entish Restoration, Cycle of Renewal. Then we also have Blossoming Defense. You're going to see a lot of these pump cards, right? Blossoming Defense gives Hexproof +2/+2. Gaia's Gift +1/+1. You can Trample, Hexproof, Indestructible. Indestructible is probably pretty good there. Bombadil's Song gives Hexproof +1/+1. Gift to the Viper puts a Death Touch counter on something. Invigorate. If you have a forest, you can if you control a forest rather than pay its cost, you may have an opponent gain 3 life to give +4/+4, which usually won't matter because Tifa can be so large that she'll just stomp somebody for the extra 4 anyway. Giant Growth, Might of Old Crochet, is a pump spell where if you play it during your main phase, it gets +4/+4. Primal Bellow, it gets +1/+1 for each forest, and Tifa's Last Stand, it gets +X/+X, Hexproof, and Indestructible until end of turn. We then have our artifacts. We do have Black Blade Reforged, which is the equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control, and equips to a legend for 3. Skyclave Pickaxe, Landfall, the enchanted creature gets +2/+2. You can equip it for 3. Trailblazer's Boots gives non-basic land walk, and then we have our enchantments. We have Abundance. If you would draw a card, you can choose land or non-land, and then you reveal cards from the top of your library to reveal one of those types of cards. Blanchwood Armor's Aura that gives +1/+1 for each forest you control. Colony Heart Expedition, a card I personally love. I love the art on this class, or on this card. Jason Chan, if you're out there and ever see this video, please know that I absolutely appreciate this art on this card. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a quest counter on it. And then you can remove 3 quest counters from it and sack it to search your library for 2 basics, put them onto the battlefield tapped. We do have Spelunking, so our lands enter the battlefield untapped. We have Retreat into Kazandu, which is landfall. Put a 1/1 counter on a creature, you gain 2 life. Rites of Flourishing, everybody gets to draw an extra card, and everybody gets to play extra lands. Well Rested. Enchanted creature has, whenever this creature becomes tapped, put 2 1/1 counters on it, then you gain 2 life and draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. And Wild Growth, which the enchanted land taps for an additional green. Our lands, we're running 40. We're running 32 forests, and then all Rogue's Passage, so that way we can make Tifa unblockable. Escape Tunnel, which can make it so target creature 2 or less can't be blocked during a turn. Or, it searches. All the rest of these are budget fetch lands, which will help our triggers. So that is the build. Now let's take a gander at how it plays, shall we? And so we'll zoom out by 1. And we have a pretty decent opening hand. We're going to draw for our first turn. We're going to drop a forest, and we are going to Wild Growth our own forest. Oop. On our next turn, we have Circuitous Route. We are going to play our Tifa, and we are going to play a forest. On our next turn, we are going to play a forest. This puts her to 2. And then we're going to tap for 2. We're going to sack the Sack Tribe Elder. Searching for a land. This puts her to 4. And then we are going to tap for 2. Actually, we're going to do this in a different order. We did this in a different order, okay? So, no, we have to do it in this order. So we have 2 available. Hi. Or draw a card, play a land. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We can smash for 13 on this. Well, we're not going to smash for 13 on this time. So we played a land that put us to 2, 4, 8. We're just going to swing in for 8 this turn. Next turn, we are going to draw. And we are going to play Primal Bellow this turn, which then puts our Tifa up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She is a 6/2. And then we are going to play Rogue's Passage, making her a 12/2. And then we are going to tap here for 4. Search for 2 forests. Oh. Forest and forest. Close and shuffle. That makes 24, 48 for her. And swing in for 48. This will just straight up end one person. Now, the problem we have now is that unless we keep drawing ramp, this is why I put so many ramp cards in the deck, right? So right now, we want to 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to play Sad Robot. We're going to view our library. We're going to put a forest into play. Tapped and shuffle. So that puts her at 2. And play Migration Path, which will help us search for 2 more. 8, 16. Puts her to 16 power. And we will go ahead and swing. On our next turn, we kind of fizzle a little bit. So this is very much a deck where we have to get going fast. Otherwise, you can run out of gas. On our next hand, for our next game, we have another pretty decent hand, right? We can play 1, turn 2, we drop our Tifa. Now, I will say this. Your opponents, if they are wise, will kill your Tifa right away. Because Tifa is an Avengers level threat. For example, we play this. She's at 2. We're going to go ahead and tap for 3. And we're going to play Cycle of Renewal, which sacks this. Draw a forest and a forest. Close and shuffle. So 2, 4, 8. Swing in for 8 on turn 3. We have 4 lands available at this time. And I think what I'm going to do this turn is just... We're going to play Migration's Path, which will then make her a 4. Nope. Library. Drop a forest down, drop a forest down, and we'll bring in the beats for 4. Now, what this is leading up to is getting us enough land so we can do a whole bunch of things in one turn. So, on this turn, 1, 2, 3, yeah, we'll do it this way. We'll tap for 3, and we're going to play Invigorate. Oh, actually, I'm just going to have an opponent gain 3 life this turn. This is fine. So this opponent gains 3 life, and Tifa gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Now, we are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to grow from the ashes with the kicker, which lets us get forests untapped and put them into play. So 5, 10, 20. I know it is funny. But as you can see, we pump her up, and she's a 20. My daughter is adorable, friends. She thinks this is funny. 20. And then we also have Roiling Regrowth, Blossoming Defense, things like that if you need to get in for a little bit more. But then you swing in and attack. So that's the deck. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I'll be back on Friday with another Magic for the Working Class. I hope you all have a wonderful day.